Right, hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. And today's video is going to be a little bit different from the norm on the channel, which is we aren't showcasing any old Call of Duty gameplay here. What I am actually going to do for you guys is showcase how to improve your experience with these older Call of Duties. So some of you, if not most of you, I believe, will be playing through the reverse compatibility through Xbox. And I've had a lot of comments talk about input delay, their graphics settings not looking so crisp and so good on these older games. Now, of course, these will be down to things such as, one, these games are old, two, you will get on bad connections sometimes, and if you do, you should just leave the lobby. And freeze, some of you guys might just not be used to it. I feel like a lot of people have the norm of playing at 120 FPS and 60 FPS, which these older CODs do play at 60 FPS, but sometimes it doesn't feel like it, I believe, for some of you. And here today, I'm going to fix that for you. I'm going to help you out with these issues. I'm going to try and give you as many possible fixes as possible. Because again, the problem I have is I can't do a one-size-fits-all for you guys, because you all have different monitors, different TVs, different controllers. There's not a lot I can do for all these different things. So I'm going to give you what I use, what I do to make my gameplay as crisp as possible. As you guys have seen from the recording of my gameplays, they're pretty crisp, they work fine for me, and it's pretty smooth for the most part. It's still not 100%, but it's about 90% there to making it as good as possible of an experience when playing these older Call of Duty. So first of all, I'm going to start off with the TV and display options. I'm going to showcase that to you guys now. So for me, I do keep my resolution still at 1440p, and I know some people have done it where they've changed this down to 720p and that. I don't believe you should do this. You should have this on the best resolution possible for your monitor or TV, in my opinion. And next up, my refresh rate is at 120 Hz. I have not changed this, and it doesn't make a big difference, okay? The thing with this is it'll be like still nice for me in that, but the games, they do not play at 120 FPS. Maybe they'll get an FPS boost. Maybe Microsoft will do that. They have done that with older titles for other Xbox games. So hopefully it's something on the cards that we might get. But for now, I do keep this on 120 Hz. You can change this to 60 if you want, but it's perfectly fine leaving this at 120 if you can do that. Next up, I'm going to go to video modes. So here, I have none of these enabled. Now, I did say in a video to allow variable refresh rate. I have changed this. I do think this setting is a bit hit or miss. You can experiment with this. You can try this on your monitor or TV, or have it off on your monitor or TV. It feels like a case-by-case sort of thing. I feel like for some monitors and TVs, it'll work. Some TVs and monitors, it won't do a good job. So for me, I've got this off. And again, you can enable these as well if you really want to. Again, I haven't got them enabled. I just don't think these do a lot for me. I've left them completely off, and that's it. And then here, I've left it on auto detect. I've had people say that you should put this straight onto HDMI. I have not noticed any difference through this. 24 bits per pixel and color space I've left on standard, but you can have on PC if you really want to. Now, next up, this is the big one, and this is the one I'm probably going to promote the most. And again, I am not sponsored by Microsoft in any way, shape, or form to promote this. However, I am going to showcase my Elite controller, okay? And the reason for this is the best fix to the input delay if you're playing through an Xbox One. Now, it's an expensive fix. I absolutely get that. I understand it is a very expensive fix. However, one of the beauties of this controller, and I'm not going to do a full-on settings video like I do with like most Call of Duties and stuff, but this is what I do. So I leave all my buttons as they do. You guys have seen maybe have or haven't seen, I use like a pretty much standard setup here. Nothing changed here really. This, I've left the left stick on radio. I've left that normal because it's movement. Movement isn't really that important. However, aiming and sensitivities feel a little bit off when playing through Xbox One reverse compatibility. So to make this as close to the 360 like sensitivity in that, what I have done is changed my sensitivity curve to instant, and I've adjusted the curve to the maximum possible the maximum possible adjustment to the instant sensitive curve, whilst also having the calculation of true diagonals on. I like using the true diagonals calculation. And what this does is it kind of, like you're going to see here, it just changes how this works. So what you're seeing here, blue is where my actual, is it blue? No, gray is where my actual stick is, and blue is where it feels. And what this does is basically lines this up with how the 360 sticks would behave back in the day on your Xbox One controller, and makes there's a video basically explaining this, which is if you go look at Drifter's channel and search like input lag and stuff, he shows a very good demonstration of how the sensitivities actually adjust very differently at certain points from the Xbox One controller compared to an Xbox 360 through the Xbox 360. It's a crazy phenomenon, basically. There'll be moments where you're slower, then faster, then you're on par, and it just throws your aim off so badly. And this also makes the controller and, you know, the sticks better, more sensitive, and basically you will have as minimum input delay as possible. This won't fix the buttons and stuff. I would advise, though, wiring your controller to your console. That is the best way to minimize as much input delay as possible, in my opinion, which I do. I use this control with the cable provided by the Elite Control for the Elite Controller plugged into the controller. Even though it is wireless and I can use it wireless, I prefer to use it wired just in case. I just think it's better for input delay and stuff. Next up, I have the trigger set to 0 and 1 and stuff. These won't change your input delay, but they might make it easier for you, to hit the triggers and stuff. And then I have these all down. And I set the brightness to green for, Xbox 360, right? Because it's green. But, yeah. So these are my settings. These are my setup. I'm going to also show you guys just briefly, like Modern Warfare 3, some of the things that I do. One thing I'll tell you now as well, so I play on tactical as well. It's a little bit, that's all preference, right? That's not going to change your input delay or anything. But, when you use this setting, if you do have an Elite controller, which again, I massively do recommend getting an Elite controller. If you can, don't go out of your way to buy something if it's like too expensive. It's not worth it that much. But if you're someone who has a bit of cash lying around, and you want to have a good controller for quite a while, which by the way, I would recommend buying a warranty as well with your Elite controller because they do break and it's a very expensive item to break. So if I were you, make sure you get a 3-year warranty with your controller. But having the instant on will make you play at lower sensitivities than you're probably used to. For instance, back in the day, I would never ever have played on a sensitivity below 3. But because of the instant setting, I do actually play on a 2 in Modern Warfare 3, as crazy as that sounds. I also have my horizontal and vertical margins like lower, like it puts everything on the separate screen. It's kind of what I do for all Call of Duties. Game volume, it doesn't really matter. And brightness, try and keep this set to like how it has it on here, where it's got the top bit not visible, the second bit barely visible, and the bottom bit easily visible. Now, you guys won't be able to see this through my recording, but I'll briefly explain it. My monitor does have a few settings as well. And basically, I'll leave links to this stuff in the comment section below as well. For the monitor I'm using in case you guys want to look for an upgrade and change your monitor possibly. This is a monitor from quite a few years ago now. It's an Asus TUF Gaming VG27A. Great monitor. I've had it for a few years now. I could probably upgrade, but this monitor still does the job, so I don't really need to change this. But it does have options such as adaptive sync and ELMB sync. Now, the main one really is the adaptive sync. I do have this off. I feel like you should have this turned off. If you have this setting on your monitor, I would personally, if I were you, turn that off. Same with ELMB sync, turn that off. I feel like a lot of people use these settings or might use these settings because they think it's going to help them. It's not. It's going to give you more input delay and you don't need it. And then finally, if you do, again, based off your monitor or TV, change your settings to the like either a gaming mode you should have, FPS mode. If you have one of those two options, turn them on because they will reduce the input delay from your basically the screen to what you do on the controller and stuff with those settings. So yeah, I am going to leave links to the stuff that I use in the comment section down below, and I will also be very 100% transparent. Those links will be Amazon affiliate links, so I do get a cut if you guys do end up buying from them, because again, I'm not going to here to be a scumbag, basically. I feel like these products are good, and again, that's something I'm going to is going to happen constantly on the channel. If I do promote something to you guys, such as what I use in that, it's because I use it. I will not promote something to you guys if I don't use it and I think it's trash. That is as simple as that. So I will leave links to that in the comment section below. It's up to you guys whether you want to buy them or I don't think it's absolutely the be-all end-all. You do not have to go out your way to buy these things, but I do have some settings and stuff, like I said, that could help you with your personal TV, your monitor, and again, with your controller, wire it, make it as less input delay as possible, and hopefully that will fix a few things for you guys, for your monitors, for your TVs, and just any input delay you are experiencing from your Xbox One through the Xbox reverse compatibility. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to notification, and I'll catch you guys next video. In fact, actually as well, any questions, if you do want any questions answered, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I will try to answer them as best as I can. Again, I'm not quite a tech guru, but I will be able to try and answer as many questions as possible and see if I can help you with any of your issues that you may have. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to notifications on. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.